Jason enough to tell him the truth about what's going on, but she trusts Brad. She trusts Brad. She over here telling him stuff. Meanwhile, Superman, aka Jason, still trying to save her. He ended up going to Jocelyn, asking her for help to help save this girl. I said, you better tell somebody. If he shipped off Vaughn, he'll do the same thing to you, and he told you that. Brennan ended up erasing Willow's video like Nina wanted. Valentine told Carly about Brennan using her evidence to his advantage. Anna found a book from Faison. Brennan gives Carly a necklace. Alexis still trying to clear Willow's name, and she just might. I want to know, what does Christina know? Why is she being questioned? Why did they bring her in? Look, they say on tomorrow's episode, that's the episode where Chase supposed to make 2 arrests. But I'm like, okay, it's still messed up because they saying it's supposed to be Michael and Jacinda because they lied about the alibi and everything. But if that's the case, then Michael and Tracy should be getting arrested too. Then they mentioned the softball bat on today's episode, and I'm like, okay, where is this going? They asked they asked Tracy if she moved the doggone baseball bat. Now why y'all ain't got no fingerprints? Didn't they say they was running fingerprints? Like, look, I want to know who they gonna arrest, but yeah, they saying Michael and Jacinda because they lied. But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life with Chelsea for General Hospital, December the 18th, 2025. First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. What y'all think, that y'all like the episode? Look, I think what would really make me like these episodes more is if they finally wrap this up. Just go and get it out the way. If you're gonna arrest Michael, go and do it. Cause y'all, nuh-uh. I'm so sick of this. I said by tomorrow's episode, we need to see who shot the man at least. But yeah, they supposed to be making, or Chase supposed to be making 2 arrests on tomorrow's episode. I said he gonna be, if it's Michael, he gonna be too happy. He gonna be too happy to arrest him. Do y'all think that Willow's finna get ready to go free now that the video evidence has been erased? Then Brandon's supposed to be talking to Nina on tomorrow's episode saying that it's time for her to keep her end of the bargain. And she gonna end up getting Charlotte to confide in her, and she gonna tell. I said, so is he gonna leave and come back, or is this still the scene from the same one? Because Lulu's supposed to still be telling him how he ain't got no jurisdiction there or whatever. But yeah, what did y'all think of the episode? Did y'all like it? How do y'all feel about how this whole Willow Drew situation is going? Because at what point do these people pay? Now, I don't know if Willow actually did it or not. I was saying she did it, but the longer they take, the more I think that they gonna make it somebody we least suspect. The longer they take, the more I think that it's gonna be somebody that we least suspected. Because it's a lot of things that they not addressing. Well, I ain't gonna say it's a lot of things, but it's some things that they still haven't addressed. I say that part. But yeah, on today's episode, we're going to start with Nathan and Lulu. They spending awful lot of time together. I said, let me find out they finna be a couple. I thought they would have been put Dante and Lulu together. Or back together anyways. But now I'm thinking they trying to put Nathan with Lulu. I said, now we don't like Brandon or whatever. I said, we don't like Brandon or whatever because of how he been operating. But he kind of got a point. He was like, you really going to listen to him and trust Nathan? We don't even know where he been. Nobody's knows where he been. He can't even remember the last 7 years of his life. I said, let me find out they working together. But no, I don't know. I was like, you know what, Brennan? You right. When you right, you right. And you right about that. Because he do be acting suspicious still. He did pop up out the blue and he don't remember. And I just remember. We don't remember. We still don't know where this man been. But yeah, with Nathan and Lulu, they was talking about Charlotte. He had picked her up from school and everything, and she was saying how she thankful for him helping, and she started confiding in him about what Charlotte said about preferring Valentine and everything. And he just trying to, comfort her. And next thing you know, Brendan come. He wants to speak to Charlotte. Lulu's telling him no. Nathan had her back, and he was like, well, I'm going to have to haul you in. And he was trying to tell him no and stuff, and he was speaking up for Lulu. And that's when he was like, we don't even know. Everybody you done got your badge back. Everybody just taking your word for it at face value or whatever, but you can't even remember the last 7 years of your life. And I said, look, I don't know. And another thing, because I didn't write this part down, but I do think that I asked y'all before, or I mentioned it before, with the Anna situation. She mentioned on today's episode something, I don't know how we started talking about Anna. I guess because it's about Nathan and Daddy and everything. But she said something about, they was talking that language. I don't know what type of language they was talking, but they was talking it. And in the language down at the bottom, it said something about where she came. And on another episode, she was writing it down, said she was on water or something. So do y'all think that she's at Windermere? Do y'all think they got her at Windermere? And if they do got her at Windermere, does Brandon know anything about that? Could they mention the WSB? They mentioned the WSB. I mean, they could have just been saying that, but at the same time, like, nobody really doing enough. Nobody really doing enough to find this lady. They just taking this, oh, she on assignment for the WSB. And I was like, that ain't suspicious enough within itself. That ain't suspicious to y'all. Then Pascal, I was waiting on him to go over there. I said, knock him out, Anna. I said, you could take him. I said, Anna, you could take him down. I said, hit him with that little tray thing or something. But yeah. I think the last scene with Brandon and them was him saying it about Nathan and still trying to say he need to talk to Charlotte or whatever. And Lulu don't want him to talk to Charlotte. Brad and Britt over here celebrating and drinking, and he ordering champagne, and she just over here drinking too, and they just happy. And she talking like this stuff is a good thing or something. She talking about how they done. She woke up and they had got her, and they basically forcing her to do this and that because she got a medication, and she just smiling and stuff. So they crazy. I said she crazy too. She just as crazy as her. What is she? Her cousin Nina. But yeah, so next thing you know, I knew that waiter. I knew it was gonna be something about the waiter. Cause I'm like, didn't Brad just say he's broke? And we know Britt broke. We know she broke. And I said, now how they gonna pay for this? Next thing you know, Britt was pushing it to him. He pushing it to her. They both talking about how they broke and stuff and how they gonna pay it and who they gonna call. I'm assuming they gonna call Jason, but I don't know. I'm assuming they're gonna call Jason, but they might call somebody else. We'll see. But yeah, yeah, they was just talking. She ends up, I said, now I know she ain't about to tell him stuff that she couldn't tell Jason, even though Jason done saved her several times. And he over here at Jocelyn's place trying to help find out information so she could get her medication. And Josh supposed to be telling him how she ain't no victim, she's in on it. I said, exactly. She's learned nothing. What you smiling for? These folks threatening to murder you. Is you crazy? Shoot. What the world? But she just telling Brad stuff and how she woke up and they got a medication and he talking about some, well, you better start doing or keep doing what they say and all this other stuff. But she ain't tell him about Dalton and stuff. But that's not to say that she won't tell about Dalton and stuff. But yeah, I said she playing a dangerous game because once they start to figure out everything, they gonna say she's a loose end. And even if she don't do nothing else stupid, they still gonna be like, you a loose end, we gotta cut you loose. But yeah, I'm starting to think that they got Anna down there at Windermere. I'm starting to think they got Anna at Windermere or something. Because she did mention water. She definitely mentioned water. Anna Pascal, he was trying to get her to get up and turn against the wall, and she wouldn't at first, and she finally did. That's when he brought her food, and it was a book taped to the bottom of the tray. And the person on the book looked like her. To me, the person on the book looked like Anna. And it said something from C. And ain't that man named Faison or whatever, and she threw the book or whatever, scared and stuff. And I said, now, it's Faison. That's another thing they need to go and reveal. Is he dead or not? Is he dead or not? Golly, now. But yeah, and also, who all involved? C was involved. Dalton was involved. Pascal there. Britt or whatever. But is it somebody else? Is Faison actually alive, or are they just messing with Anna? I know Brandon keep mentioning how he wants to work for himself, so maybe he doesn't know about the Anna situation. But then again, he is a liar. Somebody said, what you told Carly? It's the next who we got? Yeah, we do. Carly and Brandon. He done brought her a doggone necklace. And then we got to talk about Valentine, too. He done brought her a necklace, and she basically said he feel guilty or whatever. And I said, exactly. Bringing her no necklace and stuff. Somebody should consider it an early Christmas gift or whatever he said. And they was talking and stuff. And what did he say? Let me see. Oh, he said... They were talking about Charlotte, and she thought that he wanted her to talk to Lulu about Charlotte and stuff like that. He said, I wouldn't want to involve you or your family in my work. And Carla was just looking at him like, you liar. Liar. What the governor said on The Walking Dead. Liar. I said, he just lied with a straight face. I would never want to include you or your family in my work. You don't include all her family members. Then it's the fact, when Valentine and Carly was talking about how, I think Valentine asked Carly, how did Brennan, how did they get involved? So she ended up mentioning how everything that happened, how when everything happened, when she got arrested or whatever, she decided to go visit him when he was locked up and everything, and it kind of happened towards that. And she was saying how she got out and the evidence against her just disappeared. And he was like, it didn't just disappear or whatever. Jack had to be the one who did it. And she was like, what? And he didn't tell me. And she was like, maybe he didn't, just making excuses for him. And Valentine was like, or you being naive, maybe he's just waiting on the time to use that evidence. I said, exactly. But now I'm thinking that Carly gonna realize who deleted Willow's video because she knows now that he's the one who deleted her evidence. But yeah, I was like, exactly, Valentine, Carla, get your head in the game. I said, he trying to, and then I was like, okay, with that scene, before Valentine said that part about him using it to his advantage later down the line, I was thinking that he was using it when he went to Jason. Remember when he went to Jason and Jason didn't want to work with him? Then next you know, he came up with the best next thing, Jocelyn or whatever. So he said that emotion the entire time. But yeah, that's all that happened with them. Jason and Joss. He went to her. He asked what's the place bug. Did she check for bugs? She checked, and it wasn't no bugs or anything like that. And said something about if they question why he's there, excuse me, they could just say he was inviting her to the party, as if Jason would be inviting somebody to a party. But okay, but yeah, so they start talking, and he was like, he need her help. He wouldn't come if he didn't need it, and how she could trust him, and he'll sacrifice his own life to save her. I said, girl, he right. I said, he right. You might not be able to trust nobody else, but you can trust him. When he said that, he'll put y'all before his own kids. I said, you got that right. And she was like, at first, she was questioning whether or not to trust them. But now that Von gone, she definitely don't trust Brennan. She trusted Von with her life, but she don't trust Brennan. So he wanted to know information about Sidwell and Faison and all this other stuff because he wanted to help Britt get her meds. And she's supposed to be telling him how she ain't nobody's victim. And I said, exactly, she not. She not. Just let her. I said, at this point, she has learned nothing still. I said, she gonna have to face the consequences of her action. You gotta stop trying to save people. You need to go check on Jake. What is Jake doing? Check on Jake. Check on Danny over here. Worried about Britt. At first, I was like, okay, but she doing too much now. You don't want to tell him, but you sitting up here telling Brad with a smile on your face. So there ain't nothing exciting about you finna be murdered. Hold on. But no, for real. What else did Jocelyn and Jason talk about? Let's see. I said Jason visits Joss. I don't think she really just told him nothing yet, but she did say how she trusted him. She trusted Jason and stuff. I don't think I wrote down nothing else about them. What else? Dante and Turner, they was talking about how the video gone, so she ends up giving the judge screenshots, and Alexis was like, what happened to the original footage? If you ain't got that, then you can't use it. So the judge agreed with Alexis, and I said, look like Willow going free. And Nina just back there smiling. Didn't they say something about Nina gonna be in the hot seat? Maybe they talking about because of Brandon's probably telling her to do what he want. Maybe that's what they talking about. But yeah, she just back there smiling and stuff. And I said, man, don't tell me these folks still continue to get away what they did. And I want to know, because I don't know if Willow did it no more. I did think that she did it, but the longer they take, like I said before, I don't know if she did it or not. But she do be giving the look that she know more than what she's saying, just like Michael. They just be looking at each other and stuff. They just be over here exchanging glances and stuff. And I was like, let me find out both y'all. But once again, Chase supposed to be making 2 arrests tomorrow. If he arrested Michael for lying about his alibi and being there at Drew's place and Tracy, then he gonna have to arrest Jacinda too. But then, how did they mention the doggone softball bat, but you ain't mention who fingerprints you found on it? Y'all didn't test for fingerprints or nothing like that? Asked if Tracy got up there, they was questioning her and stuff like that. Tracy don't be trying to hide nothing. She still saying how she feel about you. She don't care. She don't care. They over here. Tracy, did y'all see Tracy got up and left her? She said, they questioning Michael and mentioning Michael. Let me go and get up out of here and stuff. Hold on. But yeah, how you gonna mention the baseball bat? Then Kai and Trina looking at each other. Y'all ain't got no business there. You, Curtis, Michael might as well not be there either. Like, I get it, but at the same time, I said, if y'all, especially if they guilty, if you guilty, you ain't supposed to be nowhere near that courtroom. You supposed to just sit there. I'm assuming that they didn't do it. Because why would you do that? But yeah, what else? Like I said, Trina and Kai just looking at each other when they mentioned the baseball bat. They said the guy that played Kai supposed to been leaving off the show. That's what they said. But yeah, they questioned Tracy, asked her if she moved the baseball bat, the softball bat or whatever, and she was like, no, she didn't. And then that's when they looked at each other, but they ain't say nothing. At the end of the episode, Christina came in, Alexa seen her. I said, now, what she know? Why did they bring her in? I want to know why they brought her in. But yeah, I think that's it. I think the last thing was Anna got a book from C or whatever. That's the same C that was on Faison. Or not Faison, because we don't know if it's him. We don't know if it's somebody pretending to be him. We don't know. We really don't know. Remember they left Britt that medication? It said from C. Same thing in that book that Anna had. Yeah. I don't know what they trying to prove. I definitely don't. But yeah, that's all that happened. Nina got her way. These people keep winning. These people keep winning. But that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, do have a good rest of the day and be safe.